Hi everyone, welcome to turn 7. This turn I expect that we're going to get a message back from Tianchi about our border arrangement, and I intend to go over our Pretender's Bless. Alright. Message has arrived from Tianchi. To Grayscale. The deal is acceptable. Some guy. Okay. Message has arrived from Helheim. Did it go to the wrong person? Oh well, to Lenk and Baba Yaga. Never ever threaten Helheim again, or you will suffer consequences the likes of which few throughout history have ever suffered before. We are no longer a country that will stand for your damned words of violence and death. Be cautious. Looks like an opportunity to me. I could team up with Lanka and attack Helheim, but we'll see what happens. Research and enchantment is complete. Excellent. There's a battle in the soaked earth. Yeah, this will be easy. Barely even scratched. No wounds, wonderful. 5 kills. Alright, it's a profit. I don't think I will only like arrows very much. Was that the leader? Oh, here he is. Well, our big Oni are dead. The red ones. Oh, morale. Yep, he's just passed out. And that's a win. Yeah, we lost 3 Akaonis and 1 bandit. New famous hero. Stories of first Shadow of Grayscale's brave deeds and his unbreakable skin are now told by bards and storytellers all over the world. Alright, let's have a look at this. Hero's ability receives increased protection. Oh, that's not very good for us, because our iron skin sets our natural protection to 20. I don't think any of this stacks. But we'll see. If it eventually gets to the point where he has natural protection 20 from his heroic ability, then he won't have to cast iron skin, and that'll save him one more round. But probably not very useful. Alright, well, I'm going to take my turn, and I'll be back when it's done. And that's our turn done. So, the first thing we did was rename our Dione to Second Shadow of Grayscale, and he is going to be moving into Nern. Our first Shadow of Grayscale is going to be moving into Bycliffe. They're both using piercing weapons, so I expect that we're going to easily win. Well, Shadow is going to be moving into the Barbarian province, and Barbarians don't use any piercing weapons, so we've taken out Skeletal Body and put Mirror Image instead. It will also be moving a Priest in as well as extra leadership, just in case Shadow dies, that our army won't automatically run away because there's no leadership. This is mainly because we don't have enough gold to build a temple yet. So this I'm not sure about. I would say there's about 50% chance that we'll win and about 50% chance that we'll lose. But there's not much that Foreshadow would be doing if he didn't attack. So I think that's fine. If he dies, if our prophet dies in 5 turns, we'll name someone else our prophet, and that'll be probably a Dione. So our prophet will be a more survivable character. Our scout still hasn't seen Chanchi take the province, so we still don't know what his bless is, which is a pain. But one day, we have also sent messages to both Lanka and Helheim. So the messages I sent to Lanka: greetings, Baba Yaga, carpenter of the insides. Helheim sent to Grayscale, god of insanity, a message containing much frustration directed at you, the god of Lanka, the leeching darkness. We have not seen the land of Helheim yet, and wonder if you know where his lands are, or his bless. So basically I'm just trying to figure out what Helheim's bless is, and I basically say the same thing to Helheim. Greetings, Preparis Uranus, king of this world. The god of insanity has heard your message towards Lanka, and wonders if there have been hostilities. We have not seen the land of Lanka yet, and wonder if you know where his lands are, or his bless. Alright, so that's basically our turn. But I thought I might show you bless this turn. Well, I thought I might explain why I picked the bless that I picked. So I'll just get him into a bit of combat and I'll... Alright. So morale +1 is what you get as a basic just for being blessed. Shock resistance +10. So this is because we're going to be fighting Helheim, and Helheim has a lot of air mages. A lot of air mages means a lot of lightning damage. So that might come from lightning bolts, air elementals and stuff like that. And shock damage in Dominions 5 also has a secondary effect of stun. So there's a chance if you take shock damage that you'll get stunned as well. And if our Dione gets stunned, then they're going to be sitting ducks. So that was the main reason. Cold resistance +5 was so that we could have a very well-rounded amount of resistance to magical elements. So we have shock resistance, fire resistance, cold resistance, and poison resistance. This just means that we will be resistant to basically whatever spell they throw at us. And magic resistance +3. So this is important because the kind of strategy we're using is called thugging. This is where you get one really strong unit, and basically that unit by itself can take out entire armies or small armies. And they're not designed to generally take on main armies because there are spells that are very good at taking out thugs. There's very good anti-thug spells. a lot of the best anti-thug spells go against magic resistance. So by having a high magic resistance, we reduce the chance of having anti-thug spells work against us. As well as that, Banish Demon spell goes off magic resistance as well. So all the sacred priests out there that'll be casting spells like Banish Demon will have a harder time of it. And we'll probably see that coming up in a few battles. Alright, HP plus 1. Okay, this is to work in with regeneration, so I'll explain them both at the same time. If we look at our HP, it starts off as 50. The way regeneration works is you get 10% rounded up of your HP per round. So we have 50 HP, so with just regeneration, we would get 5 HP back per round. But because we have plus 1 HP, that brings up to 51 HP, which means we get 6 HP back per round from regeneration. So that's regeneration and HP plus 1. Blood Surge 3. So whenever we kill someone that is not undead, so an actual person that has blood in them, or some kind of blood, we activate Blood Surge, so that's why our character's all red. And that gives us plus 3 to our attack, plus 3 to our defense, and plus 3 to strength, with plus 1 Invigoration. So that's Invigoration 1. So because we have Encumbrance 7, that means every time we attack, we lose 7 fatigue. Having Revigoration just means that we recover the amount of fatigue faster. The higher fatigue we are, the more likely we are to get hit, be critted against, and when we get over 100, our character basically falls unconscious and is very, very easy to hit. But we have a high armor, so that's probably not going to affect us too much. But yeah, strength just increases 1 for 1 into damage. Attack skills, how likely we are to hit. Defense skills, how likely we are to dodge. So Ore was a tricky choice of the 5 paths for me. So I almost didn't take Ore. I was thinking of a few other things to take instead, but it worked well with Fear, and I'll show you why. So if we see these two Militar, that glowing look means that they have failed to make an attack because of Ore. So I'll see if I can show in the combat log. Ore negated attack on Dione. Ore roll 17 versus morale roll 16. So an Ore roll is 10 plus the Ore score, or ability, which is 1. So we make 11 plus a roll. Versus their morale score, for here is 8 plus a roll. So against these Militar, it's very likely that none of them will even hit us. With Fear, so people around whom have their morale reduced and get a chance to flee, check put on them. So their basic morale is 8. If he stuck around, he could get reduced all the way down to 3 morale. And that's almost always going to fail the Ore check to hit the Dione. But more than that, it means they're very likely to run away, which is what we see soon after. And Affliction Resistance. Okay, so Affliction Resistance was to reduce the total amount of afflictions put onto our Dione, mainly because they can survive most battles, but they get a lot of hits that they regenerate up with regeneration. But over multiple battles, they'll acquire afflictions really quickly. The way afflictions are dealt is it's off percentage health taken. So if you lost 10% of your health in an attack, you would have a 10% chance of being dealt an affliction. So if our Dione took 25 health damage, there would be a 50% chance that they would get an affliction. So even if they only take 5 damage, that's still a 10% chance to get an affliction. If that happens 10 times, that's very likely they're going to end up with an affliction. And if they get hit if they take 5 damage 10 times every battle, then after a few battles, they're going to be so riddled with afflictions that they'll almost be useless. So it's a longevity bless, just so that by the end of the game we can still use the Dione that we got at the start. So that's our turn. And that's my bless. Well, that's why I picked my bless. Like and subscribe. If you liked it, leave a comment below. I'll see you for the next turn.